This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, with the continuation to our previous session, let's talk about a little bit on about myself, and then we can continue with the regular session. Yes, so this is all about to know about your instructor. I'm Naveen Kumar. I'm a certified expert in NeoLoad. So which I have got this certification during 2000 and fall 2018 and early 2019. So I have worked across various domains like retail, banking and finance sectors, insurance, healthcare, telecom, logistics, etc. I have a good amount of experience in variety of these domains. I have a little over 600 plus hours of live training experience. So yeah, that's the short intro about myself, and this is my credentials, where you can see it's a certified expert. It's not professional. Expert is the next level of professional. Yes. So let's talk about a little bit on the course content as well. So what are we going to do in the next 20 plus sessions? We are going to learn about performance testing concepts, right? Using NeoLoad as a tool, we're going to learn a variety of these concepts. We're going to learn about NeoLoad features with the appropriate analogies for it, and touching on each and every components of the new load. There are various aspects. We'll be looking at it, and all of them are on practical demonstration and hands-on. So everything would be lively demonstrated to you. Um, will also will be given some small exercises for the practice. Also, let me open up this content. So this gives a comprehensive idea about what we are going to do, how are we going to spend our time in the upcoming sessions. Uh, so if we see, like, we will start with the introduction of performance testing and a little bit introduction on the near load, and we will be learning about how we can download and install this near load. If at all, if we get any other issues, we can also troubleshoot towards the end of all the sessions. And there is going to be a components of NeoLoad, and we are going to learn about design. Design is one of the module. A good amount of time is scheduled for correlation. Correlation just amounts for 80% of the script development, right? If we get the correlation right, then 80% of the script is completed, and we will be looking at to a variety of different types of these correlations. And of course, we are going to go for the validations, assertions. There are various variables associated with variable manager. We're going to learn that, and some of the logical actions which are frequently used for our script development. We're going to look into it, and so some of the custom coding on JavaScript, and how like extracting a data into a file, something like that. And we will look into some of the framework parameters, and there are like user path updates, SLA profile managers, building a population, which is useful for workload distribution. There is browser emulations, network simulation. All of these things we are going to into it. There is monitors, creating a sample monitors, and we are going to extensively look into the performance counters. There are different types of performance counters associated with different types of monitor systems that we are going to see it. This is very useful, especially for the beginners, to understand from the server side or from the server aspects. And this is supposed to be runtime, which is it's like 3 hours, I think, some issue here. Okay. So from the runtime, we are going to create a scenarios and running some tests on it, and finally on the results, we're going to analyze the results. There's a result manager generating a report, filter results, and finally comparing with the current executions and the previous. And this is very useful for, especially if you are working in the CI/CD model, where they go for every sprints type. Yes. So this is the a course content. I'll be sharing this content in the group after end of the session. And yes, let's continue with this content. So performance testing introduction, right? We're just going to spend a little bit time on this. Uh, Performance testing is all about to determine the performance of the application under load. That is all we are going to do, and the core part of this just about the response time, and also on the server side, what how the server health is under various load. Okay, and if we look at it, like, why do we need performance testing, right? The first is the loss of business. So let's say the only core part of our business is, we are let's say we are running a website, and if that website has some performance related issues, then obviously we are going to lose the business, right? So to give a short introduction or explanation for this, right? So this is the what I'm going to do is I'm going to visit this website. It's a flipkart.com. It's one of the most popular e-commerce website in the country. So if we look at it, like currently there is some big savings days are happening, and they are running some sales. And during this time, right, we can expect a lot of traffic. A lot of users would be visiting the site. They're trying to make orders, or at least 99% of the traffic are just like a casual surfers, right? So if I'm coming to this web page, I just want to see like what is on sale, whether is it useful to me. So majority of the traffic is just about simply surfing uh, the web page. Although they make some choose to make the orders. And this is the another one, amazon.in. Again, they are also running some sales. um, so when we so the idea is, let's say if I'm visiting flipkart.com, and if this doesn't open within a certain time, let's say I'm waiting for 10 seconds, what I would do is I will just close this flipkart.com and I'll move on to amazon.in to see whether if that opens. So that is a lost opportunity over there. So the idea is to bring the consumer at least to visit the web page within that certain time, and the customer experience, and keeping this website at good performance standard is very very important, especially if they are dealing with something e-commerce. And this also applies to any other business. It's not just only restricted to retail or e-commerce site. It can be applicable to any other industry. And the most critical industry is the banking and finance sectors, where they they would need to check both performance and security at top priority. Security comes first for them, next the performance, and for healthcare it is the performance that comes in the first. Healthcare and life science. So let's continue with the slide. So this, I hope this is a clear understanding for the loss of business or loss of opportunity, right? Let's say if we keep the performance at really good, or we have benchmarked it, the application is working fine under various loads, it can handle a lot of users. In that case, right, so faster the websites, more the revenue, more the customers, better consumer experience. We can see the business grow slowly over time. Right. In case if we keep the business really good, that is, the site is fast, more customers are coming in, then we have to also check on the scalability, right? So how year on year, how much users are coming into, so what is the growth that is happening, the stability of the system and robustness. If we see this is a good example, right? The world's richest person, Jeff Bezos, he's able to manage to reach top. It's because of the scalability. They have solved this scalable problem, right? If they manage to scale it well with good stable system, and considering all the other aspects on the performance, then that is the sustainable business, right? And that's how Amazon has grown to one of the biggest giants in the entire world, I believe. Yeah. So this is the idea about why we have to consider performance as one of the core. And now the companies are realizing this, especially during this COVID times. They have seen abrupt changes among the user patterns, user sessions, and they did not, or most of them are not even ready, right, for such kind of a high surge in their system. But now most of them are considering, and that is why there's a lot of opportunities on around this performance, and they are looking at the importance of performance right now. So if we quickly look at the performance testing types, okay, I will just show some of the popular types. The one is the load test, right? This is all about application under peak load, peak user load. So either we can get this information from the business team, or we can determine it through various channels. Anyways, next is the stress test, where we can so as I said, when we are scaling it, we can understand how the business is growing, maybe year on year or quarter to quarter, right? So using that, we can also apply a future load and see how the system is behaving. That could be this stress test. And next is the soak test. It's also called as endurance, and this is to understand about the stability of the system, right? So this continues. And smoke test is for, like, it's most like a validation test. It is mostly run for 5 minutes or 10 minutes test, just to validate the script that we have developed, whether everything is working as expected. That is the main goal of this smoke test. Spike test is for simulating a sudden jump in the user load. So this is very useful to simulate, for example, like IRCTC, Tatkal booking, or even in Flipkart and even Amazon's. They are starting with, let's say, they are releasing some new phones, or some mobile devices, or some other electronic devices. They would give some time, like this would be open for after 12 p.m. on certain day, right? So during that time, we can the expectation is we can expect a lot of users coming into it, especially if that product is very popular. So with the recently the PlayStation 5 is very demand. So Flipkart has opened at some time back, like after 12 p.m. So everybody was, like, trying to. So such kind of simulations, such kind of situations can be easily simulated using this spike test. And capacity is to determine the application's breakpoint. That means, like, until what is its maximum uh, user load, or the load it can withstand before it breaks, right? That is like, basically we are going to break the system, or finding the upper limit of the system. So these are the various types that we will be also creating scenarios, and doing the executions for this, right? And installation of NeoLoad. Okay, I have uninstalled it for this session. Let me Let me show how we can install NeoLoad. So we can go to neotis.com. So neotis.com, Neotis is the actual developers of NeoLoad. Right now it has been acquired by Tricentis. Tricentis provides end-to-end testing solutions. And they have different, very good different products. And now NeoLoad is also joining their arm. We can see NeoLoad going to grow or acquire at least more market share from Lowrunner from the proprietary tool shares. So after going to neotis.com, we can click on try NeoLoad. So this would take to this web page. You can simply scroll down and click on this. Click here to download directly, and we can download this file, which is 64 bits. I assume most of you would be having a 64-bit architecture operating system. If it is 32 bits, please download this file. And if it is of other operating systems, we can its corresponding files can be found here. Excuse me. So this is the latest release. If you need a previous release, sometimes what happens is due to various constraints, some of these scripts or some of the functionalities will only work with specific um, releases. This can be easily found here, and then you can download it. So by just clicking on this, we'll be able to download it. So just read this terms and conditions and then go ahead, select agree, and now this will download. I already have the file, so I'll just cancel it. To install NeoLoad, simply double click. This installation wizard would start once the setup process is done. You can select the language, just select English. Simply click next. Go on, read this, and select I accept. Click on next, and make sure that you select controller. Right, controllers is very important when we install. So ensure that controller is selected, and click on next, and select your desired installation folder. Right, I'm just going to select the default one, so I'll just leave it as it is. And clicking on next. And if you wish to create a start menu folder, check this option. If you don't wish, please uncheck. And if you have more users in your system, um, create shortcuts for all users. I'll just keep it default. I'll click on next. So this would just take a little bit of time, and it will complete the installation. almost done. I believe is the longest waiting time. So meanwhile, you can also request for 30-day live uh, free trial license, which I'll be showing shortly. So it's yet to be completed. So you can create a desktop icon if you wish to. I'll just go ahead and click finish. So let's download a license. Okay. So once we come to this page, like neotest.com/trial, here we can select the salutation, any uh, your desired salutation. Simply provide some of the details that you wish. So I'm just giving my details. I can provide any, let's say, software, any number. I'm just sharing a random number here. So once we given all of these details, just click on start free trial. So this would generate a 30-day free trial license key, and now this has already generated, and now it is saying like download your license. Okay. I'll just open. I'll show on the license management. So if we go to about, so just go click on help, go to about. Now it says like status, there are no license. License is not required to create or develop the script. That means like whatever the activity that we are going to do from the design module, we can create these scripts, we can develop the scripts, we can create populations, create monitors. All of them are allowed, and even from the runtime perspective, we can create various scenarios, and we can create all of them, right? But license is required to go for the performance executions. Okay. I'm for now sharing this information. You all can download this license, but do not activate it. It is not required. But just for the this purpose, I'm showing. Just a moment. You can so I already have an account, so I can either log into it, or you can use another. Just to save some time, I'm using the different email. You can click on start free trial. Now the file is getting generated, or it got generated, and it's automatically the download has also got triggered. Just click on okay, so this is the license file that we have got. So go to help, go to license management. So it says like in the license there is no license, and we can enter this license key here, and then we can activate it. Click on this, and go to downloads. uh, this is the license that it got just downloaded, and just click on open. So now what it says is so we have downloaded today. The license has got generated just today. So we can go up to the edition is just trial. We can go up to 50 users. There are other aspects of what are the protocols that are covered as a part of this license, and this we also have a license ID, right? So this is how we can activate the license. But for now, please refrain from activating the license, but you can register and download your license and keep it. It is only required when we are actually going for the execution. Until then, it is not really required, right? Okay. So let's continue with the session. So we have. I hope it is clear from the installation side. Any questions that I should take from the installation side? Okay. Okay. So I take that as a no. Mm, Fine. Let's proceed with the session. So let's look about a workflow, right? So this is as a performance tester, we are going to look up. We are going to uh, talk about this on like workflows. We are going to use this term workflows, right? So workflows is just a series of user actions, right? A series of user actions together is called as a workflow. So we will see like what is it. And so for example, let's take a sample. uh, we are going to launch a web page, right? Which is I'm going to launch a Wikipedia, and then I'm going to search somebody, like let's say like Elon Musk, and then selecting the Elon Musk link. Okay, this is a very simple workflow. Okay, let's see it in the uh, practical. So I have this Wikipedia page. I'm just launching it. So launching is one user action. Okay, going to search Elon Musk. Searching Elon Musk is another user action, right? And then clicking on the Elon Musk link is another user action, right? So now we have I just demonstrated three user actions in one web page, right? um, so this so from the performance terminology, we are not going to call this as a user action, or this is going to be called as a transaction, right? There is something a transaction is happening between the client and the server. So we are going to stick to this term transaction. Okay. So these three user actions is just amounts to this one specific workflow. We can call this as a search workflow. Okay. So user actions is going to be translated into transaction. Now in from now on, we are going to call this as a transaction. Okay. Transaction is one of the keyword used in performance testing. For everything, there is going to be a this is going to be frequently used. And a transaction is just a group of requests, okay, that belongs to one user action. Let's see about this as well. So when I say a group of requests, for example, let's I'm just opening up the Google Chrome developer tool. Okay, let's say we are just going to look at this specific web page. Okay, right. So if I just refresh, right, so we are seeing a lot of elements, lot of requests, uh, right. So to make up this page, all of these are required. So there is one main request and followed by a lot of subsequent requests which is non-html resources. Okay, so this is that group of group of requests belong to one user action. So this is basically a one user action, right? I can again go back to the main page. Okay, these many hits makes up this main page. If I search the same keyword for every keystroke, what I do, there is a some calls is happening, okay, between the client and the server. So this is the second user action. So this is the other group, and then as soon as I click on the final page, so again this is the another group, right? The same can be translated into the scripts. Okay, say in the previous sessions, so what we have looked at, we just looked at a simple example. We checked on the launch, clicking on a fish, angelfish, etc. And since this is a demo application or a sample application, this does not have like how we see in the real applications. If at all, if we look at the retail applications, like for example Flipkart, it's going to be more resource intensive. um, there's going to be a lot of files that we would be seeing, and it would take even a longer time compared to the any other. So this is those group of hits that is going to make up this page. Okay, all right. So this is the workflow, and we are going to look at various examples and different use cases and exercises based on these workflows.